In a world increasingly driven by technology, artificial intelligence was meant to be humanity's great leap forward. But what if I told you that it also became the silent instigator of one of the most dangerous escalations in modern Middle Eastern history? Over the last few days, tensions between Iran and Israel have erupted into open war, with airstrikes, retaliations, and rising global fear. At the core of it all isn't just nuclear ambition or geopolitical friction, but a silent force humming beneath the surface: AI. Yes, artificial intelligence may have played a far bigger role in this conflict than anyone is publicly admitting. What you're about to hear might change how you see the future of warfare, politics, and global security. Now, before we get into the chain of events that dragged the world into this current crisis, let's ask a simple but haunting question. Who's really in control when AI makes critical decisions? Military strategists? Presidents? Or lines of code trained to make life or death calls? This is not science fiction. It's a chilling possibility that's been quietly brewing for years. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We dive deep into global affairs, technology, and the untold stories behind the headlines. If you're finding value already, please take a second to like this video and share it. It really helps push this kind of content to more curious minds like yours. Now let's rewind the clock to understand how this all began. Several months ago, U.S. satellite imagery flagged unusual activity in central Iran, what looked like the expansion of underground facilities suspected to be connected to nuclear enrichment. The twist? This wasn't flagged by human analysts. It was detected by an AI-powered reconnaissance system jointly developed by an Israeli-American tech defense firm. Designed to process real-time thermal imaging, satellite trajectories, and pattern-of-life analytics, the system raised red flags long before any human observer did. The AI flagged what it calculated to be a 93% probability that the facility was being repurposed for nuclear weapons development. These alerts were passed on to Israeli intelligence. But here's where it gets murky. Traditionally, a discovery like this would prompt weeks, even months of analysis. Diplomats would be briefed, allies would be consulted. But this time, the chain of decision-making was shortened. One Israeli official, who leaked anonymously to foreign press, claimed that internal protocols had recently been revised to allow AI-generated threat assessments to directly inform military response timelines. In simpler terms, AI didn't just spot the threat, it practically set the response timer. The Israeli Defense Forces launched a preemptive airstrike just days after the alert. Their justification was simple: prevent a second nuclear state hostile to Israel from rising in the region. The airstrike targeted 3 facilities, including the AI-flagged site, with precision munitions guided by the same AI system. Iran retaliated immediately. The world watched in horror as Tehran unleashed drone swarms, some believed to be equipped with their own AI navigation systems, towards Israeli territory. Tel Aviv's Iron Dome intercepted most of them, but not all. Casualties were reported, infrastructure damaged, and both nations officially entered a state of war for the first time in decades. So what triggered this? Was it old political hostility? Absolutely. Was it the nuclear issue? Of course. But what's gone unreported in mainstream media is the undeniable fact that artificial intelligence compressed the decision loop to near zero. There was no room for diplomacy, no time for negotiation. The machines spoke, and humans followed. One anonymous Mossad official claimed off-record that while the initial AI assessment was accurate, the urgency was miscalculated. It interpreted construction activity and material movement as immediate threat indicators without contextual understanding, because AI doesn't have context. It has data. Now, here's where it gets more controversial. Several insiders believe Iran's nuclear project was not as advanced as the AI suggested. In fact, a leaked IAEA report, which has yet to be verified, indicated the uranium enrichment levels were consistent with energy purposes only. If true, that means this war may have been sparked not by imminent danger, but by misinterpreted data and blind faith in algorithmic certainty. Add to that a growing body of evidence that Iran's cyber division had been working on its own AI defense system. There are whispers, though nothing confirmed yet, that their system may have tampered with the data stream being monitored by Israel's AI, causing it to raise a false alarm. Yes, you heard that right. A digital ghost planted by one AI, tricking another into launching a strike. Cyber warfare just crossed into a new era, algorithmic deception. And just when you thought it couldn't get more twisted, there's the geopolitical angle. The United States, caught completely off guard, has remained officially neutral, though it's reported that its AI threat detection satellites were also involved in the initial chain of events. Russia and China have both condemned Israel's actions, accusing them of relying too heavily on Western AI systems prone to error and manipulation. Meanwhile, several Gulf states are scrambling to assess their own AI defense platforms, worried that a similar misfire could plunge them into conflict. In the last 48 hours, ceasefire negotiations have been attempted by the UN, but progress is slow. Why? Because each side believes they're acting on hard data. Cold, calculated facts delivered by the coldest operators imaginable, machines. Let that sink in. Human lives, entire nations, possibly the global order, are now being steered not just by politicians or generals, but by algorithms that operate in realms of probability, not morality. We've entered an age where decisions are no longer slow, deliberative, or emotionally weighted. They're fast, data-driven, and alarmingly final. Now ask yourself this. If AI can push two ancient rivals into war by speeding up threat detection, how long before it does the same elsewhere? Between India and Pakistan, North and South Korea, the South China Sea? This is not about blaming technology. AI is just a tool. But when that tool is entrusted with authority, when it becomes both the alarm bell and the trigger mechanism, then we risk creating a world where war isn't started by human intent, but by machine inference. Think about that. So what's next? As we speak, NATO is holding an emergency summit on algorithmic warfare guidelines. Tech firms are being called to testify in The Hague, and a global moratorium on autonomous military decision-making is back on the table. But is it too late? Because whether Iran's nuclear facility was a real threat or not, the war is now very real. Civilians are dying, cities are burning, and the line between human judgment and machine logic has never been blurrier. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking with this complex and important story. This is the kind of deep dive we do here. Unfiltered, controversial, and brutally honest. And if you believe more people need to hear this side of the story, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and most importantly, smash that subscribe button. Because this is just the beginning. The age of AI warfare isn't coming. It's already here. And we need to start asking the hard questions before the machines start answering them for us. Some or all of this information may or may not be true. Let me know what you think happened in the comments.